Hey, what's going on? This is Icon once again. Quickly, just gonna run down last night's Backlash pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view for the Smackdown brand. It kicked off with we had about six matches, two tag team related matches. Then we had the three title fights, the supposed Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt matchup, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And we did have a kickoff show match. So without further ado, again, first pay-per-view, first individual pay-per-view since the brand split, first pay-per-view for SmackDown. Let's get right into it. Now, after a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan talking to Apollo Crews, in which Daniel Bryan was trying to get Apollo Crews to stop with the nice guy thing. He was trying to bring out a little bit more meanness, a little more intensity in Apollo Crews. Baron Corbin shows up and pretty much calls Apollo Crews a waste of time, which causes Daniel Bryan to put the two of them in a one-on-one encounter. And it was a good match by both guys. Apollo Crews actually shined very brightly. The crowd did get behind him for a large portion of this match. Towards the end, there was a large portion of the fans that did get behind Baron Corbin as well. You know, both guys pretty much ever since they've been up to the SmackDown brand, since they got the call up, they haven't really done much of anything like exciting. Like Baron Corbin's been pretty much in go nowhere feuds with Kalisto, whereas Apollo Crews had a shot against the Intercontinental Championship in which he came up short. So both guys kind of needed this win, but despite the fact that both guys did need the win benefited Apollo Crews. The win benefited Baron Corbin a little more, only because at this stage in Apollo Crews' career, because he's still trying to get his character over with the audience, Apollo Crews putting on good matches but then coming up short and taking falls, it actually works in his favor losing, because it gets him the sympathy vote. It gets him the sympathy vote from the audience, especially if he's in the ring giving it 150% and the crowd sees the effort, they see the talent, they see the athleticism. It makes the fans want to get behind him, which is a good thing. But in this match, great effort by both competitors, but Baron Corbin does get the victory here over Apollo Crews. A lot of the fans were disappointed, and that can only mean good things for Apollo Crews going forward, because people are going to want to see him do well. The more he comes up short. And Baron Corbin, him being the lone wolf, him being the big guy, he can only move up further from here as well. So definitely a good matchup by both guys. Now, to kick off the Backlash pay-per-view was the SixPack Challenge, the 6-woman elimination match to crown the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. You had Nikki Bella, Harley Bliss, Neon Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, and Becky Lynch. Going into it, everybody felt that Nikki and Becky Lynch were the two obvious favorites going into it, and WWE pretty much followed that script to a T. It was a great outing actually by all 6 competitors, especially Alexa Bliss. Thank God even Marie wasn't involved, but Alexa Bliss and Naomi were actually the two shining stars of this match. Unfortunately they were the first two to get eliminated, but people talk so much trash about Alexa Bliss because of her size, but the girl's got talent. Like, the girl's got a mean streak. Naomi, what can you say about her that hasn't been said already? They call her the most athletic diva, the most athletic woman on the roster, and it would be nice if they'd stop giving her titles and give her a title. Naomi was my pick to win this match, but unfortunately she didn't get it done. The fans were behind. The fans were definitely behind Becky Lynch, so the WWE decided to go with the crowd favorite. The Nikki Bella Carmella situation continued, which I also enjoyed, because Carmella's still, giving Nikki the business. She's still putting it to her every single time she turns around. Carmella even got the pin on Nikki Bella during this match, which eliminated her from championship contention. And of course at some point, Nikki's gonna get the title, because she's the longest reigning Divas champion. She's dating the face that used to run the place in John Cena. But the Carmella Nikki feud, I definitely like it, because people weren't feeling the face Carmella, so the heel Carmella is definitely getting over more with the fans. The crowd was upset and actually booed when Naomi got eliminated from the match. So, that's a good thing as well, because it shows that her face character is definitely getting over with the fans. So, you gotta, so how could you not, look, think that Naomi would be destined, to become a champion soon on the brand as well. I just hope she doesn't get, lost in the shuffle between like the whole Nikki and the whole Becky Lynch thing. But again, great matchup by all 6 girls. Alexa Bliss and Naomi specifically, stood out more than anyone else. But in the end, it did end up being Becky Lynch, who walked away with the victory in the six pack challenge. And Becky Lynch, the lone horsewoman on the SmackDown brand, she is the first WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. So, I mean, no surprise there. Like I said, the match was good. I enjoyed the match. I was a little disappointed with Becky winning, only because it was just so obvious, like there was no surprise there. I would like to have seen maybe like Naomi or Alexa Bliss get the title, just to give it, just to give us a swerve and give us something different. But at the end of the day, you can't be mad with Becky Lynch winning the title either. She was definitely excited. So this now makes Becky Lynch being a woman's champion, but not an NXT champion. And so far, Bayley's been an NXT champion and not a women's champion. It's more likely that Bayley will join Sasha Banks and Charlotte, two being as held both, whereas for Becky Lynch, she probably won't have an opportunity to ever become NXT Women's Champion. So the SmackDown Women's Championship is that's going to be her, her crown, her pinnacle moment, like her crowning moment. But one thing she can say that the other 3 girls can't say is she was the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. So kudos to Becky Lynch for that, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the women's division on SmackDown has to offer going forward. After losing in less than 10 seconds to American Alpha and then injuring both Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, more notably Gable, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan announced that the 2 losing teams, the Hype Bros and the Usos, would go on to determine who gets to face Heath Slater and Rhino for the Silver Dollar Tag Team Champions. In this match, the Usos came out, they got the new look, they got the all black, they got the beards, letting everybody know that they're bad guys. They took out the Samoan War Dance. Now they just come to the ring and they pretty much just beat the shit out of you. So Usos get the win over the Hype Bros. That definitely wasn't a surprise, and they move on to face Heath Slater and Rhino for the Tag Team Championships. Next matchup was the matchup for the Intercontinental Championship, the Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. And before the match even started, Dolph Ziggler was in the ring waiting for the Miz's entrance. The Miz was so unimpressed and so not interested in Dolph Ziggler. They cut to him cursing out Daniel Bryan in the locker room, pretty much, giving him a verbal tongue lashing, letting everybody know that he doesn't even care about Dolph Ziggler to even go out there when his theme music starts playing. The Miz was talking about how he wanted to renegotiate his contract because, he's an A-list star. And then, after Daniel Bryan never gave him an answer, he just went down there the Miz just decided to go down to have his title match and to pretty much handle his business and let Daniel Bryan know they'll be talking when this whole thing is over. Due to outside interference by Marie spraying what appears to be perfume or hairspray in the face of Dolph Ziggler, the Miz was able to get the victory, and the Miz is still your Intercontinental Champion, rightfully so, because after he cut that that real life promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, you got to run with the Miz a little bit longer. I mean, it does suck for Dolph Ziggler because he just came up short in 2 back-to-back pay-per-views. But that's the business, the way it is. I mean, hell, if I'm Dolph Ziggler, I leave and go to TNA because they're just not doing a damn thing with me on on the WWE product. But we'll see where Ziggler goes from here. Maybe he wrestles AJ Styles. Who knows? But the Miz is still your Intercontinental Champion. So it was announced earlier, a couple of wrestling dirt sheet, like a couple of wrestling reports had reported that Randy Orton wouldn't be wrestling tonight at Backlash, and lo and behold, they had a backstage segment where Bray Wyatt attacked Randy Orton in the back before, prior to the match starting. And due to Bray Wyatt attacking Randy Orton, the medical staff determined that Orton was unable to compete tonight. Bray Wyatt comes into the ring demanding the official 10 count to count Randy Orton out of the match so he can get the victory, which he did. Bray Wyatt was recognized as being the victor in this match, but Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan decided to still give him a match since the people did pay to see him wrestle, and they bring out the ever-aging Kane. Bray Wyatt and Kane started a no-holds-barred match in which at one point Randy Orton did show up, limping, down the ringside. He did show up, and he gave Bray Wyatt the RKO, which is totally legal since it was a no-holds-barred match. RKO's Bray Wyatt, and then Kane of all people picks up a victory, and Bray Wyatt loses again. Not sure, I'm definitely not sure what's going on with the Bray Wyatt character, because to be honest, I can't even remember when was the last time Bray Wyatt even picked up a victory. But the feud between Wyatt and Orton, I guess, will continue. Orton interferes, puts Wyatt down with the RKO. Kane gets the victory, and for all three parties involved, I guess we'll see on Tuesday where they go from here. The final match to determine the new Silver Dollar Tag Team Champions. It was actually a good matchup. The crowd was extremely behind Heath Slater and Rhino, and after Rhino gave the Usos one hell of a gore, just like I predicted, because the guy has to get a contract eventually. I mean, the storyline is that he's trying to get a contract, but he's obviously still employed. He's still on the show. So this whole thing about him not having a contract had to end at some point. And again, like, he's over with the crowd now, so why not give the fans, why not give, Heath Slater the payoff for all the hard work that's been put into it. And, in this match, Heath Slater and Rhino win the match thanks to the gore by Rhino. They do win the match, and they become the first ever SmackDown World Tag Team Champions. Heath Slater even said, aside from a couple of his kids being born, this was the greatest moment in his life. He really played it up. The guy is hilarious. He's a great talent. I'm happy he's on the SmackDown brand. I'm actually happy he won the match, because we all know that the two of them aren't going to hold the titles, forever. They might even have them. They might lose them at the next pay-per-view. So the end game here is going to be the American Alpha Usos match, especially now that the Usos are heels. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm waiting for the American Alpha return. I'm waiting to see the response of the Usos for not winning the tag team titles, and I'm waiting to see what Heath Slater has to say on SmackDown this Tuesday. So definitely congrats to him, and there are your new tag team champions. And finally, for the WWE Heavyweight Championship, we had the phenomenal AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, versus the WWE Champion Dean Ambrose. To a split crowd, I have to say. There were moments where people were chanting for Ambrose, moments where everybody was chanting for AJ Styles. Then at one point, the fans kind of booed Ambrose a little bit, and the fans got behind AJ Styles a little more. But AJ Styles is the number one guy on the SmackDown brand. He's the most popular character. He's the best wrestler. He's the guy that the fans want to see. So WWE did the right thing. Dean Ambrose's title run was good while it lasted, but you got to give it to the right guy. You got to give it to the guy that's hot. You got to give it to the guy that the fans want to see. And like I said before, there's no way in hell you beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. You get a clean victory over John Cena at SummerSlam of all places. You don't do that and then go to Backlash and lose to Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship. So, yes, he did cheat to win. The referee got knocked down for a few seconds, and in that small moment, AJ Styles was able to kick Dean Ambrose in the sack and get him up for the Styles Clash. But he's a heel, so him kicking him in the nuts and hitting him with the Styles Clash is pretty much what a heel's supposed to do. And AJ executed that to perfection. Got the 1-2. Hell, it's clean as far as I'm concerned. Got the 1-2-3 victory over Dean Ambrose, and AJ Styles is your new WWE champion, and he is now officially the face that runs the place on Tuesday nights, and no one can't tell him shit. So that was it. I gotta say, I was really entertained by the entire pay-per-view. It kind of felt like they used every wrestler they had on their roster, but with the exception of the outcome of the of the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt thing, because I would like to actually have seen that matchup, and that matchup didn't happen. And Wyatt versus Kane was not important to me at all. I would have given the show a 10 if it wasn't, if it wasn't for that. But because of the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt thing, and then the fact that a couple of my predictions didn't pan out, I'd have to give the show like a solid 9. It was definitely a good program. It kind of felt like watching SmackDown, only because the Backlash colors are the same colors as the SmackDown colors. But like I said, I love the show. I love the participants. SmackDown's my favorite show right now. And, I definitely look forward to seeing what they got in store for you in store for us. I definitely look forward to seeing what they got in store for us on Tuesday nights. So there it is, everybody. That is your Backlash SmackDown review. Thank you for watching. Keep it locked here for more content. And, we hope you guys enjoy what you hear. Take care.